Good morning. This is Monday, June 7, 2010 at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast of CATEX-TV from Princeton, New Jersey. It's 4:30 p.m. in London, 12:30 p.m. in Bermuda. In Mexico City, it's 10:30 a.m. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. I would note that yesterday was June 6th, D-Day, for those who are old enough, or people who grew up in that era with people who are old enough were alive. It is the 66th anniversary of the Allied invasion of France, and it's a day to be remembered. Now to our main news. A small undersea earthquake has struck just off Los Angeles this morning. It was widely felt throughout western Los Angeles. It was not a big quake. It was a 3.6 on the Richter scale. It hit at about 5:17 a.m. Eastern Time. It was about 4 miles west of Redondo Beach. It was only 8 miles in depth. Many people along the western area of Los Angeles felt it. Some in central Los Angeles, about 20 miles east, felt it. The Santa Monica police said that a very brief and mild jolt was felt, a short shift from left to right. Scientists say quakes of this magnitude are generally not strong enough to cause any injury or damage, and there have been no reports of either. Well, in the Gulf of Mexico, today's update, really on several fronts. BP is saying that the cost of their response has reached $1.25 billion U.S. BP also said that the cap on the well yesterday collected some 10,500 barrels during a 24-hour period. Scientists estimate that as many as 19,000 barrels of oil a day are gushing out of it, so they're making some progress, not enough. In the United States over the weekend, perhaps for the first time, people close to their television sets were able to see in full detail the extent of the environmental damage along the Gulf Coast. So a tremendous amount of concern is being expressed now about the effects of the spill on wildlife. BP right now is working on another addition to the current solution. This they're going to implement hopefully in early July. This is a more permanent containment cap. They're going to direct the current oil and gas that's coming out of the cap that they put on last week to something called a new free-floating riser that's going to end about 300 feet below sea level. A flexible hose then will be attached into that riser and brought up then to a containment vessel. The reason for this? This provides greater flexibility for operations during a hurricane. That's something that is beginning to loom on people's minds as the extent of the disaster could only be magnified exponentially in the event the hurricane begins to bring this oil onshore, way onshore. Of course, the 2 relief wells currently being drilled are going to be ready sometime in August at the earliest. In Bermuda, actually, some news from Jonathan Kent, the writer for the Royal Gazette. He offers a quote or two from Stephen Catlin, the head of Catlin Insurance Syndicate, speaking in Zurich last week. Mr. Catlin said that insurers have in fact gotten lucky in that only about 20% of the losses so far from the Gulf of Mexico oil spill have been borne by the insurance industry. He made the remark at the Euroforum Reinsurance Conference in Zurich. This is according to the Dow Jones Newswire. The limited exposure of commercial insurers is due, of course, to the fact that BP self-insures most of their coverage. So far, loss estimates from insurers have totaled about $611 million, and the estimates from the disaster range as high as $3.5 billion. Only a handful of Bermuda companies have given guidance on their losses associated with the Deepwater Horizon oil rig. We've given them before, we'll give them again. Catlin has said 40 million, Partner Re 70 million, Validus 45 million, XL Capital 30 million, Montpelier Re 20 million. Swiss Re, not based in Bermuda obviously, has posted the biggest oil spill loss so far at 200 million. However, according to Moody's last week, the potential business interruption claims represent the largest unknown for insurers. as the liabilities continue to pile up throughout the Gulf Coast. However, Moody's and others are saying that even in a worst-case scenario, they're not expected to exceed $3.5 billion. Over the weekend in the U.S., a line of storms ripped through the Midwest Saturday night and Sunday morning, destroying dozens of homes and an emergency services building in northwest Ohio. Storms collapsed a movie theater roof in Illinois. It ripped siding off a building at a Michigan nuclear power plant. Forced a shutdown at that plant. The worst damage, however, was done in a town called Millbury, Ohio, just southeast of Toledo. Here's a picture of Millbury. It's located in Ottawa County. The storm that hit Millbury had winds of up to 165 miles per hour. A total of 7 people were killed during the tornado that went through this area. 50 homes were destroyed, another 50 severely damaged. It could have been a lot worse if the storm had gone through Toledo itself, which is a fairly populated city. I had to look at this story a few times this morning to make sure I was reading it correctly, but indeed it's true. 26 years after the Bhopal disaster in India, an Indian court this morning convicted 7 former senior employees of Union Carbide's Indian subsidiary of, quote, death by negligence for their roles in the Bhopal gas tragedy that killed 15,000 people back in 1984. The former employees, many of them now in their 70s, were sentenced to 2 years in jail in order to pay fines of 100,000 rupees, about $2,100. All 7 were released on bail shortly after the verdict. India's Central Bureau of Investigation, the country's top investigative agency, has said that the plant did not follow proper safety procedures before the disaster. Of course, back in December of '84, a pesticide plant run by Union Carbide leaked about 40 tons of deadly methyl isonate gas into the air in the city of Bhopal in central India, killed about 4,000 people immediately, and then the poison effects over the next several years killed another 11,000 at least. Union Carbide was bought by Dow Chemical in 2001. Well, Cyclone Fet, I should say, did enough damage in Oman on Friday and Saturday, and then on Sunday headed across the Arabian Gulf to the Arabian Sea to Karachi, Pakistan. 16 people were killed in Oman. Public and private sector employees were back to work today. The government declared a holiday yesterday. The latest toll from the Omani Civil Defense is 16 dead. That's an addition of 1 from the day before. The storm moved into Pakistan yesterday with heavy rains and winds. It mainly hit the city of Karachi. The Petroleum Development Oman, which accounts for 70% of Oman's oil production, said that oil exports, which were interrupted Friday and Saturday, resumed yesterday. The company noted that oil production had not stopped at all during the storm. And in Guatemala, the big storm that went through there, Agatha, last week, the death toll figure is now firmed up at 172. 101 people are still missing, the Guatemalans say. This updated toll means that throughout Central America, including El Salvador, 205 people were killed by the storm last weekend. The stock market is actually it's down about 23 points right now. It's down to 9,908. This is after the bloodletting on Friday on the disappointing U.S. jobs report. We'll now go to a word from our sponsors and come back with the rest of the news.
Every day, the world wakes up and goes to work, pursuing the unique opportunities that lead the global economy forward. The complexity and close connectivity of today's global marketplace is a true modern miracle that can create unparalleled success. But it takes confidence, passion, innovation, and understanding.
Enabling opportunity. Protecting capital.
Engineering innovation. Investing in your future.
Ensuring continuity.
Finding the right balance.
It takes Aon.